So now we're going to talk about what procedures can you use in order to solve these. I'm going to show you the most straightforward way first. So example 1, I have done out x squared plus 9x plus 14. First thing we want to do is talk about factors of 14. Factors mean two numbers that multiply to give you a total. So the only things that will do that are 1 and 14 and then 2 and 7. We're only talking about whole numbers or integers, no decimals, no fractions. So we have two options for things that multiply to be 14. So the question is, what do they add up to? So 1 plus 14 adds up to 15. 2 plus 7 equals 9. The middle number is 9 in this problem. So that tells me that the pair that we want to choose here is the 2 and the 7. So we're going to write x plus 2 and x plus 7 as our factoring. Okay, so these are the only options that will work to give you 14 as the last number. Which combination will add up to 9 in the middle when we FOIL? 2 and 7. Okay, got the blue pen to work. So let's do these out. X squared plus 11x plus 24. So now 24 has a few more factors than 14. All right. We always start with 1 and the number, and then 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and then 4 and 6, and then 5 and 5 doesn't work, and then our numbers on this column have reached the numbers on this column, so we know there aren't any more factors. We can stop. Do it in order. 1 in a number, 2 in a number, 3 in a number, 4 in a number, all right, until you've run out of all the combinations. It's way too complicated to just try and guess and check. Right? Write down a list. So if I check what these add up to, 1 plus 24 is 25, 2 plus 12 is 14, 3 and 8 is 11, and then 4 and 6 is 10. So we have 4 options here for the factoring, right? And what we want to do is we want to pick the one that matches the middle term here, and I can see that 3 and 8 are the combination that's going to work. So the factoring here is going to be x plus 3, x plus 8. It's going to be multiplied to be 24 and add up to 11. Okay. Example 3. I wrote this out. I wanted to do one here that had a negative. That's actually going to be important. And I wrote factors of negative 6. So it's going to be important that we actually write down all of the combinations that are possible. So 1 and negative 6, or negative 1 and 6. Right? 2 comma negative 3, or negative 2 comma 3. This is where a lot of people don't see all of the options that are available, right? Not realizing that 1 and negative 6 is different than negative 1 and positive 6. Right? That's a different combination. So we'll write out what these add up to here. So we do need to be careful with our math. So as we add them up, 1 plus negative 6 is negative 5. Negative 1 plus 6 is positive 5. 2 plus negative 3 is negative 1. And negative 2 plus 3 is positive 1. So now we look back over here. What were we looking for? We were looking for negative 5. And out of those combinations here, it was actually the first one that we had, that ends up being the correct combination of numbers and signs. So our factoring here ends up being x plus 1 and x minus 6.